The question fell into the diner like a dropped plate, sudden and sharp, slicing through the hum of forks and low conversation. A tired man stood near the counter, grease stains on his jacket, eyes lowered as if he already knew the answer would hurt. Outside, engines from a row of motorcycles growled like distant thunder, and inside, every head slowly turned. What happened next would freeze the room in a way no one there would ever forget. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this deserve to travel far. The diner was one of those old roadside places that smelled of coffee soaked into the walls and years of fried food memories. It sat between a long stretch of highway and a forgotten industrial block, a place where truckers stopped at dawn and bikers claimed booths at night. The man stood out not because he was loud, but because he tried so hard to disappear. His shoulders were hunched in a way that spoke of long days and longer nights, of someone who carried more worry than pride. He had waited patiently while others ordered full plates, watching portions pass by that could have fed his daughter for days. The leftovers on those plates were not trash to him, they were tomorrow's dinner, maybe even breakfast. He worked wherever he could, loading boxes, cleaning warehouses, fixing what others didn't want to touch. That week had been especially cruel. His hours were cut, rent was overdue, and his daughter had asked him that morning why her stomach always growled at night. He told her it was just dreaming, because no parent wants to admit hunger is real. Walking into that diner had taken courage, not for himself, but for her. He did not ask for money or pity. He only asked if the food left behind could be taken home. Across the room sat a group of bikers, leather jackets heavy with patches and road dust, their bikes lined up like iron horses outside. People often judged them before knowing them, assuming noise, danger, trouble. One of them noticed the man first, then the way the room stiffened, the waitress pausing mid-step, the cook peering through the service window. Silence spread fast, thick and uncomfortable, the kind that presses against your chest. The biker was built like someone who had lived hard, broad shoulders, arms marked with faded ink and scars that told stories without words. He had seen things on the road that never made it into polite conversation. He had known hunger once too, back when pride was a luxury he could not afford. Something in the man's posture, the way he stood asking for what others threw away, cracked open a memory he usually kept buried. The biker slowly stood up, and chairs scraped back as if people expected anger. The diner felt smaller, the air tighter. Even the old clock on the wall seemed to hesitate. What the biker did next was not loud or dramatic. It was deliberate. He walked to the counter, not with menace, but with purpose, and placed a hand flat on the surface as if grounding himself. He looked around the room, meeting eyes one by one, and in that moment everyone understood that something important was happening. Without raising his voice, he signaled to the waitress, then to the cook, then back to the man. Plates began to move, not scraped leftovers, but fresh food, full portions. The biker reached into his pocket, pulling out bills worn soft from use, and laid them down without counting, because dignity does not require precision. The man tried to shrink even more, overwhelmed by attention he never wanted. Shame and gratitude wrestled inside him, his throat tight, his hands trembling. The biker placed a container gently in his hands, nodding once, not as a hero, but as an equal. The diner remained silent, not because of fear now, but because no one wanted to break the moment. It was the kind of silence that listens. Something shifted then, like a quiet agreement passing through the room. A trucker added a few dollars. A woman slid over a pie she hadn't touched. The cook packed extra bread without being asked. Kindness multiplied without announcement, spreading in small, human ways. The man left with more than food. He left with the weight on his chest slightly lighter, with the knowledge that strangers had seen him and chosen compassion. Outside, engines roared back to life, but the sound felt different now, less threatening, more like a promise of motion. The biker mounted his motorcycle, the leather on his back creasing as he settled in. He did not look back for applause. He did not need it. Inside, people slowly returned to their meals, but conversations had changed. They spoke softer, laughed gentler, as if aware that life could humble anyone without warning. That night, the man walked home carrying warm containers, imagining his daughter's eyes lighting up, imagining her eating without counting bites. He would tell her a story about a place where kindness lived in unexpected people, about how sometimes help arrives wearing rough edges and grease-stained jackets. He would not mention how close he had come to losing hope, because parents protect their children from that kind of truth. If this story has reached you, if it stirred something inside, this is your moment to engage. Please like the video, share it with someone who might need a reminder of humanity, and subscribe if you want more stories that heal more than they hurt. Before this story ends, leave a comment with one word that this moment made you feel, because your words matter and they connect us. The diner returned to its routine, but not a single person there forgot what they had witnessed. In a world that often rushes past quiet suffering, one simple act had reminded them all that kindness does not need permission, and dignity should never be rationed. And somewhere down a dark road, a little girl slept with a full stomach, unaware that a biker in a room full of strangers had changed her night, and maybe her future, simply by choosing to care.